There is one truth nobody tells you. Most men do not get rejected because they are not good enough, but because the way they flirt makes women feel nothing at all. You can communicate just fine, be polite, be kind, and be considerate, but all of that is only enough to make you a pleasant person, not someone who creates attraction. And here is the hardest part to accept. The more you try to flirt the right way, the easier it is to get pushed into the safe zone. You are not disliked, you are not avoided, but you are never chosen. Everything stops at having good conversations, understanding each other, and then nothing happens. If you have ever been stuck in that loop, this video is for you. This video is about how to flirt in a way that actually creates attraction, not obvious compliments, not showing your intentions too early, and not trying to impress. Instead, it is about communicating in a way that makes women feel something different, even though you never say anything too direct. If you do not change the way you flirt, you will keep running into the same scenario. Good conversations, being liked, but never going any further. And that is not because you lack value, but because you are using the wrong approach. The most important part is at the end of the video, where I will point out the very thin line between a man who only creates a sense of safety and a man who creates real attraction. If you do not want to keep repeating conversations that feel fine but go nowhere, subscribe to the channel right now to follow the upcoming content. The problem with most men is not that they do not know what to say, but the state they bring into flirting. They enter conversations wanting to be liked, accepted, and validated. And that state is exactly what makes every word they say and every action they take feel safe, cautious, and weak. When you flirt from that state, you subconsciously try to please the other person. You avoid saying things that might create tension. You give compliments in the safest way possible. You keep the conversation comfortable. And what is the result? You create comfort, but you do not create spark. And women are very good at sensing that difference, even if they cannot explain it with words. If you do not fix this, you will keep falling into the same familiar loop. At first, everything seems fine. She is engaging, open, and friendly. You start to feel hopeful. But as time goes on, the pace of the conversation slows down, the curiosity fades, and eventually there is silence or a very gentle rejection. Nothing loud, nothing dramatic, just enough to make you ask yourself, what did I do wrong? The most dangerous part is that after each time this happens, you do not just lose an opportunity, you slowly lose confidence in yourself. You either become more cautious or you try to act stronger in an awkward, forced way. Both push you even farther away from real attraction. If you do not change the way you flirt at the root, the outcome will never be different. You may meet someone new in a different situation, but the same script will repeat. And that is why the real question is not what you say, but the state you are speaking from. Most men believe flirting means being clear. If you like her, you say you like her. If you feel attracted, you compliment her. If you have intentions, you show them. It sounds honest, but this is actually the fastest way to kill attraction. Not because women dislike clarity, but because clarity too early destroys curiosity. Attraction does not appear when everything has already been said. It appears in the space between what has not been said yet, in the feeling that something is happening but has not been named. When you flirt too directly, you slam that space shut. You put all your intentions on the table and unintentionally push the other person into a position where she has to react, defend herself, or give an answer before she has even had time to feel anything. Here is the key shift in perspective. Flirting is not about expressing your feelings. It is about activating the other person's feelings. When you speak directly, you release emotion for yourself. When you speak indirectly and with subtlety, you create emotion for the other person. These are completely different things, but many people confuse them. A man who creates attraction is not someone who says impressive things, but someone who is not in a rush for an outcome. He does not need the other person to confirm that he is attractive. He does not need to be liked immediately. That lack of urgency creates reverse pressure. The other person starts to get curious, starts to wonder, and starts to invest emotionally. So the issue is not that you lack technique or clever words. The issue is the mindset behind how you flirt. When you flirt to seek validation, everything feels forced. When you flirt as a natural form of communication, without needing to prove anything, attraction begins to form. In the next part, I will go deeper into the core principle of effective flirting, the principle that helps you stay subtle, create just enough tension, and never fall into being desperate or defensive. The most important principle to understand is this: women do not respond to your words. They respond to the state you bring when you say them. Two people can say the exact same sentence and create completely different feelings, simply because one speaks from a place of neediness, while the other speaks from a place of inner fullness. When you flirt with the goal of being liked or validated, every action carries pressure. That pressure does not need to be spoken, but it is clearly felt. On the other hand, when you communicate without needing an outcome, your words become lighter, more natural, and leave space. That space is where attraction is born. Another core principle is this: attraction needs space to grow. When you talk too much, explain too clearly, or try to maintain constant connection, you unintentionally remove that space. Effective flirting is not about saying enough, but about knowing when to stop, so emotions can remain suspended instead of being closed off. Finally, it is important to understand this: flirting is not about proving your value. It is about showing that you already have value. A man with standards, his own rhythm of life, and no urgency to be chosen naturally creates attraction. When you stand in that position, you do not need to do anything extra to impress. Your calm presence alone is the strongest signal. Situation 1. The conversation is flowing well and feels comfortable. The wrong reflex is trying to keep the conversation going because you are afraid that stopping means losing the opportunity. You keep asking questions just to keep it alive, even though the emotional energy has already started to drop. Wrong examples. So what else are you doing this weekend? By the way, what exactly does that job involve? The right reflex is ending the interaction while the feeling is still good. Right example? Talking with you feels pretty easy. Let us continue this another time. You stop before the conversation runs out of energy. This creates attraction because you do not squeeze the moment dry. You leave an aftertaste that makes the other person want to see you again. Situation 2. She teases you or tests your reaction. The wrong reflex is explaining yourself or defending your image so you do not get misunderstood. Wrong example. No, I am not that kind of person. What I meant was. The right reflex is accepting it and gently playing along. Right example. Yeah, maybe I just look too harmless. You do not defend. You do not correct the image. This creates attraction because it shows you do not need immediate approval and you are grounded enough to play with the emotional rhythm. Situation 3. You start to feel attracted to her. The wrong reflex is giving direct compliments or expressing your feelings too early. Wrong examples. I think you are very pretty. I started liking you a moment ago. The right reflex is creating implication without naming the emotion. Right example. I do not know why, but talking to you makes time pass faster. The sentence does not demand a response and does not pressure emotion, but it opens a door. This keeps feelings in an open state, allowing the other person to feel on her own instead of being forced to react. Situation 4. She is fun to talk to, but her investment is unclear. The wrong reflex is increasing effort to pull her attention closer. Wrong example. I can rearrange my schedule. Just let me know when you are free. The right reflex is keeping your own rhythm and standards. Right example. This week is pretty busy for me. We can talk again when it works. You do not shrink your life to fit the situation. This creates attraction because it shows you are not orbiting around someone else's reactions, and your value does not depend on a single meeting. Situation 5. You notice yourself waiting for a response. The wrong reflex is sending another message or trying to restart the conversation before you get a reply. Wrong examples. Are you busy right now? I was just asking. The right reflex is saying nothing at all. The concrete practice is to stop completely, put the phone down, and return to what you were doing. Not as a tactic, but to cut off action that comes from anxiety. When you stop acting from the fear of losing connection, your tone and behavior in the next interaction will feel completely different. The common thread in all 5 situations is this: attraction does not come from saying impressive things, but from knowing when to speak and when to stop. When you break the familiar wrong reflexes, your behavior naturally becomes more subtle, and attraction finally has space to form. The most important thing after this video is not what you say next, but what you stop doing. When you stop rushing, stop seeking, and stop trying to prove yourself, the way you show up naturally changes. And that change is what creates attraction. What you just heard should not be used when you are anxious, attached to outcomes, or trying to control someone else's reaction. Used from that state, everything becomes forced and backfires. Apply this only when you want to communicate calmly, with standards, and with self-respect. Over the next 7 days, you only need to do 3 things. First, notice the moment you want to say more, text more, or explain more, and pause for half a beat. Second, end conversations slightly earlier when they are going well, so emotions have space to hang in the air. Third, keep your own life rhythm. Do not change your schedule or over-prioritize just to maintain connection. If after 1 week you feel lighter when communicating and other people's reactions start to shift, that is a sign you are moving in the right direction. Real attraction always comes after inner stability. It never comes from external effort. If this video helped you see something you have been doing wrong, hit like and share it with someone who might need it. And subscribe to the channel to continue following deeper content about state, reflexes, and standards of a truly attractive man.